We're doing so much better than we have the past couple years, I think, and successfully. We've been winning so much. Mm-hmm. We haven't been doing this good since, you said, 2017.
Yeah.
So I think we're doing great.
Elf is like one of my favorite. I'm sure you're an anti-Will Ferrell guy. You seem like you don't like Halloween, so you definitely don't like Will Ferrell.
I love Will Ferrell.
Nah, I'm sure.
Yeah, I love Will
You're just
Ferrell.
saying that for the camera.
I think we just went out there with no fear and really played our best game, played low air, and we got it done.
I feel bad, for Jay Will and all that, because he's the guy. He's the right guy to have in that position. Mm-hmm. He's our goal line back. He's a big back. He's accountable. He's he catches the ball really well. He's one of our better running back catching backs. And if we had to do it all over again, I'd put him back in there again.
You're listening to the Griffon Sports Insider Podcast, live from Hi-Ho Bar and Grill in St. Joseph, Missouri. It's our live weekly chat with Missouri Western coaches and athletes. Here's your host for the Griffon Sports Insider Podcast, Tommy Rezach.
Well, good afternoon. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome back to Hi-Ho Bar and Grill and our Griffon Sports Insider Podcast, live on a Monday, September 23rd. 2024. I'm Tommy Rezach, joining you once again, your director of broadcasting, voice of the Griffons, fresh off of another busy week with another busy week ahead. Plenty of home events, plenty of fall sports events to dive into here over the next hour. So glad you're with us either online on the Varsity Network app, gogriffons.com/listen, or in person. Another great crowd filing in here to our back room here at Hi-Ho Bar and Grill. As always, about this time during the week, Missouri Western golf in action. This week, men's and women's golf teeing things off early. The men are in Afton, Oklahoma for the Missouri Southern Fall Invitational, and so far, so good. The Griffon men only 2 strokes off the team lead right now, tied for third at 1 over par overall, and Jeff Johnston just a stroke back from the lead overall. That's men's golf going on today and tomorrow in Afton, Oklahoma. They're in the first of what is 3 total rounds. Early, but a good start for the Griffons. Speaking of good starts, the Missouri Western women are up in Kearney, Nebraska the next couple of days for the MIAA Fall Preview. Saya Schweitzer is currently tied for the lead at 2 under par through 7 strokes, so many of the Griffon golfers getting off to a good start. The Missouri Western women, as a team, tied for 4th at 4 over par, just 7 shots off the lead. The women about halfway through their first round. So Griffon women's golf playing 2 rounds today and tomorrow up in Kearney. Griffon men's golf down in Afton, Oklahoma, playing 2 rounds today, 1 tomorrow, as the Griffons continue to work their way through that fall schedule. Well, one Griffon team that was off last week was back again this past weekend. That's Missouri Western Cross Country. They ran their race on Saturday morning in Lincoln, Nebraska in the Greeno-Dirksen Invite, with the men having a pretty solid showing, finishing 7th out of 26 teams. The Missouri Western women finishing 18th out of 22nd. So we'll talk about that with Coach Cody Ingold, who's actually dressed like a normal person today. Coach Ingold will be up next. And the next meet on the schedule for Missouri Western Cross Country is the Griffon Invite right here at home on Saturday, October the 5th. So an exciting time there. Missouri Western getting to host a meet for the 2nd year in a row. And now how about the start that 2 of our fall sports teams have gotten off to, volleyball and soccer. We finally get to watch volleyball at home this week. We'll talk about that, but Missouri Western soccer on the brink of what could be the best start in program history. Right now at 5-0-1. Wins over Rockhurst on Tuesday and Missouri S&T on Thursday of this past week. So 6 non-conference matches. The Griffons get through it unbeaten, and now they have a big home MIAA opener against the team from just 40 minutes up the road. Northwest Missouri State will be in here for a Wednesday night showdown at 7 o'clock at the Spratt. That'll be painted black night as well, so hope you can be loud. And there'll be more vuvuzelas given out at that match as well. And then Missouri Western Soccer stays home Friday for another conference match against Rogers State Friday at 7:30, which will round out a 6-match homestand for Griffon Soccer. So I hope you've had a chance to go out and watch. We certainly have here at those of us who work on campus and work the games, and man, has it been fun. So I hope you can come join us, because this is a team that's on a roll right now. But so is Missouri Western Volleyball, veterans of the road, 11 matches in 3 different states over the last 3 weeks. 9 wins, 2 losses. Best start through this point, up to this point, best start through 10 matches since the 2015 season. So a terrific run for the Griffins. They were in Bethany, Oklahoma this past weekend for the Southern Nazarene Central Oklahoma Invitational. 4 set wins over Southwestern Oklahoma State and Oklahoma Baptist, and then a straight set sweep, a dominant sweep over Southern Nazarene on midday Saturday. So we'll talk about that. The Griffins are home at long last, and they'll open conference play Friday. That'll be against Emporia State at 6 o'clock, and then the Griffins back home at Looney on Saturday at 6 to take on Washburn. So a couple of conference rivals from across the state line coming into town. Friday for volleyball, it's a gold out game, so I actually wear gold instead of black to that one. And then Missouri Western Volleyball doing their Sunshine Bag charity for that game, benefiting the Ronald McDonald House of Kansas City. And then Saturday, if you're going to the volleyball match, the good news is football is at 2 Saturday, volleyball at 6, so make your way over there. It's a USA America theme for volleyball Saturday, kind of in keeping with Military Appreciation Day for Missouri Western football this Saturday. And speaking of football, boy, what a game we experienced down there at Welch Stadium in Emporia, Kansas. We had a massive audience on the listening side, on the audio side, so we appreciate those of you who tuned in. It was about a 3.5-hour game all told that goes into overtime, and 13th ranked Emporia holding on 30-27. It feels hard to recap that whole game in just one coach's segment, but we'll try to do that with Tyler Fenwick and Grant Finley, a defensive lineman who had a recovered fumble, couple of sacks. Mr. Grant Finley will be here to talk about that with us. But he's not the only athlete. We've got a Camrin Peaslee, a junior forward, joining us to talk soccer with Coach Jake Plocher. And then also from volleyball, Taylor Russell, a sophomore right side hitter from Topeka. And she had a terrific weekend for Griffin volleyball. So Taylor and Coach Jessica Fye will join us a bit later on in the program. So that's what we've got going. That's the week ahead. 2 home volleyball matches, 2 home soccer matches. Football is at home. Will we survive the week and the weekend? We'll find out next week. But no, in all seriousness, we're really excited to see what happens. Football against Washburn. That'll be a Saturday at 2 with our pregame coverage starting at 1 on the Varsity Network app. GoGriffins.com/listen. And, of course, all of these contests will be available to watch on the MIAA Network. Myself, Kyle Schmidt, and a handful of others helping out with the on-air side of that this week. We'll take a break. We'll come back. We're going to mix things up a little bit. We're going to start it off with Missouri Western soccer when we come back. Jake Plocher, Camrin Peaslee will be up here to recap a couple of wins over Rockhurst and Missouri S&T, and still unbeaten, the Griffins enter MIAA play this week. That's coming up. It's the Griffin Sports Insider Podcast live from Hi-Ho Bar and Grill right here on the Griffin Sports Network. Continuing from Hi-Ho Bar and Grill, it's the Griffin Sports Insider Podcast. I'm Tommy Rezach. Kicking it off with Griffin Soccer, now at 5-0-1, completing non-conference play, undefeated. First time that's happened in since 2021, and the Griffins with one more win would officially be off to their best start in program history. Here to talk about it, Jake Plocher in his second year, junior forward Camrin Peaslee and Cody Ingold right from the front row. He's not used to going second, Coach. You're used to following him, so he's a little rowdy today. But anyway, welcome to you both. Thanks for being here. Let's start it off now. This feels like, I think back to the week that was this Rockhurst match that we played. Feels like forever ago. It was only 6 days ago. But Griffin Soccer defeating Rockhurst 3-1 thanks to 3 second-half goals. Cam Peaslee had one of them. But starting with you, Coach, we know that Rockhurst team, they can be pretty good. They beat Fort Hays State earlier in the season, beat us last year. Kind of a sluggish first half at first, but, man, kind of like we've seen this team do, get into a rhythm, get into a groove, and, man, shots were firing that second half. Just thoughts on that Tuesday win?
Yeah, I thought we even played a pretty strong first half as well.
Sure.
We had some chances. We had a little bit of a hiccup and gave up the goal. And we talked to them at halftime to say, hey, we don't need to panic. Everything's been pretty good so far. We just have to be able to come out, stay composed, and then finish some chances. And, we definitely did that in the second half. It was fun to watch.
Yeah, all 3 goals assisted, 2 of them by Ava Jellin. The second one in the 67th minute scored by you, Camrin Peaslee, your second career goal, first of the season. Just thoughts on kind of the adjustments and being able to finish on some of those touches in the second half.
Honestly, we were like such on a roll. Like,
You scoot your mic up just a little bit. There you go. Perfect.
we were on a roll, honestly, with Annie's first goal, and then coming into with mine on the second. It was like honestly like such adrenaline rush and everything. And I mean, it was a pretty good header, I would think.
Yeah.
I don't think the goalie was expecting me to head it that hard, and she tapped it in. So it was honestly a really good feeling to get that goal this first time for the season.
Yeah, technically the go-ahead, technically the game winner. The Griffins would never lose the lead after that. Getting insurance in the 72nd minute, Aiden Woodall with another assist from Ava Jellin. So 3-1 with inside the final 20 minutes, and that would end up being the final. Welcoming in another team, so that would be 4 matches in a week by the time we hit Thursday. Missouri S&T, the third Great Lakes Valley Conference match for these Griffins, and a similar deal, Coach. I think there were a lot of good shots, good chances early. Credit S&T. They defended hard and kept it interesting. They got a pretty talented keeper, but you get the lone goal in the 49th minute from Aiden Woodall. So less than 5 minutes after halftime, you get that lead. You hold on to it. Now, I did notice, Cam, I know you got shaken up in that match. There were a few people. Lauren Nyland was another. So I can understand. It was warm that day, a toll on the body. Not always going to look pretty, but end of the day, another win for your team.
Yeah, like we told them, it was the end of that 6 games in 14 days. So, it was kind of that gauntlet, but happy that they continue to battle, continue to get after it. Again, credit to Missouri S&T. They played a very defensive-minded game, and their keeper came up with some big saves. We didn't make it the easiest on ourselves by missing 2 penalty kicks. But at the end of the day, again, we got the result, and that's what matters.
Yeah, a couple of PKs missed in that first half, just off the mark. Cam, now 4 straight wins. You've gotten used to playing at home. You have a big road trip up north to start the year. Just what has this team learned about itself? Obviously, the success has been a blast, and everyone wants to win. But how are you seeing this team kind of grow and mature as you go through this stretch here?
Definitely, because like I'm an upperclassman now, I feel like we've definitely grown as a program, especially seeing like all our underclassmen, like we're doing so much better than we have the past couple years, I think. And successfully, we've been winning so much. We haven't been doing this good since, you said, 2017.
Yeah.
So I think we're doing great.
Yeah. Was it good to have a weekend off of matches just to kind of relax, take a breath a little bit?
Yeah. It was a long 2 weeks. It was a lot of games in that short amount of time. But now, after this break, we're ready for Northwest.
Yeah, well, let's talk about it. That'll be Wednesday night at 7. Now, Northwest, the record could be a little bit deceiving. 2 wins, a loss, 3 draws. And the people they've drawn, high quality, as in they drew second-ranked Grand Valley State earlier this season, 1-1, and then a scoreless draw against 15th-ranked Minnesota State earlier this month. And then a week ago Wednesday, they were at Augustana, pulled off a win against the Swedes, 1-0. Coach, starting with you, they're definitely battle-tested. Played them to a draw last year as well. That feels like a program that's been maybe making some strides these last few years. What do you know about the Bearcats?
Yeah, they're gonna compete and they're gonna battle. With it, especially being kind of such a rivalry game of being close. While they may have had some ties in there, again, like you mentioned, they're playing good teams and they're playing good soccer. So it's gonna really be on us to come out and play to the expectation and to the standard that we know we're capable of, so that way we can hopefully come out and get the result we think we can get. Yeah,
and then Rogers stayed in here on Friday. Rogers struggling a bit out of the gate right now, 1-5. They've lost 3 in a row. They've played away from home a lot, has Rogers. 0-4 on the road. They beat Washita Baptist 2-1. That was on September the 12th, their only win. And so that's a team that'll be looking to bounce back. Again, just going to you, Coach. Rogers, a team we beat on the road last year. 2-0 was the result there. Obviously, every year is different, but and Northwest is first. But how do you go about scouting both of these teams this week?
Yeah, obviously we kind of try to rely a little bit on how things were in the past. We reach out and kind of try to get some more information for this current season and how things are going. We've mentioned it, and we've made sure to repeat it to our team as well, that now that we're in conference play, it's a whole nother level. Our conference is so strong. Every single game is going to be a grind, and we have to make sure that we show up. We don't take anybody or any game for granted. Points in this conference are important. to make that top 8 for conference tournament. So, we have to come out and perform.
Yeah, 30 points so far by the Griffins, 11 goals scored, only 3 goals given up through the first 6 matches. Cam, I guess I'll just end with you. I think last year this team, it was apparent, pretty good defensive team. There was conversation about how do we put the ball in the net a little bit more. Well, when you have a defensive back that's leading with 4 goals, but that's a good thing. But I look at the striker position right now in Rachel Benavidez, a first-year Griffin. Aiden Woodall, another transfer who comes in. And obviously you, now a veteran of this program. Just what can you say about the talent and the depth at the forward position right now? Because you guys have been fun to watch so far early.
Yeah, especially with Rachel's first goal, I feel like we really just went out with a bang. And, forwards are starting to score now. I know, like you said, Lauren has scored all the goals.
Yeah, 4 of them. Yeah.
4 of them, but honestly, I think our talent we have a lot of depth, especially within the forwards position because we have so much talent.
Yeah,
so.
Absolutely. Well, again, 2 more home matches for Griffin soccer before they go back out on the road. Wednesday night at 7, Friday night at 7:30, and it's Paint It Black night Wednesday, so wear your black, and then Friday, pups at the pitch, so you can bring your dog out to Spratt Stadium. Should be a pleasant night, a little fall-like, so pack your jackets and your blankets and whatnot, and go cheer on Griffin soccer. Still unbeaten, and again, a win over Northwest Wednesday would secure the greatest start in program history, but still a long way to go here in 2024. An exciting start. Coach Plocher and also Camrin Peaslee joining us here today. Thanks to you both, and good luck this week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right, there you go. Griffin soccer to lead us off on the Griffin Sports Insider podcast. We'll go to a break, and Mr. Hoop and Holler himself, Cody Ingold, will join us to talk some cross country. His squad was in action up in Lincoln, Nebraska over the weekend. That's coming up. It's the GSI podcast from Hi-Ho Bar and Grill. Continuing from Hi-Ho Bar and Grill, it's the Griffin Sports Insider podcast. Rolling on to men's and women's cross country now, and head coach Cody Ingold. He was getting up here at the last second, but he's here. And Coach, welcome. You're not wearing an outfit that can be seen from outer space. You feeling good? You feeling all right?
Yeah, I'm okay. Yeah. You know, I thought about that. I was like, I'm going to catch some heat from dressing normal.
Yeah, I know.
You know?
Just all from all sides.
I had a recruit on campus, so I thought I would look presentable.
Hey, your shoes look good. Black and gold Nike Airs as well.
I actually have socks on today.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah, that's actually
a wild
rarity.
day. It's a little cold outside, you know?
I was going to say, yeah, 50s and 60s out there.
I learned that was first day of fall from you last week, so.
Yeah, yesterday was.
Fall weather, yeah.
Yeah, how about it? Weather talk on the GSI podcast. Weather ticks. No, let's talk some cross country, though.
It's officially Halloween, or we can start decorating for Christmas, right, Coach Vi? Yeah?
No,
okay.
Yeah, she's a after Thanksgiving type, but you're just like, jingle bells.
I'm aloof, yeah.
All the way. Yeah.
Yeah, always.
Did you say you watched The Grinch already this year?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Jim Carrey one, or?
No, I went with the animated one.
Okay.
I've watched that, and I've watched Elf already, so. Elf is like one of my favorite. I'm sure you're an anti-Will Ferrell guy. You seem like you don't like Halloween, so you definitely don't like Will Ferrell.
I love Will Ferrell.
Nah, I'm sure.
Yeah, I love Will
You're just
Ferrell.
saying that for the camera.
Yeah, no, Talladega Nights, one of the greatest
All right,
comedies.
cool.
Anchorman. But anyway, let's save that for the round table. Men's and women's cross country at Mahoney Golf Course in Lincoln, Nebraska on a cool. Was it rainy up there this past weekend?
It started to sprinkle, but it wasn't cool. It was
still
like
warm.
90% humidity and 80 degrees. It was. Thought it was gonna be cold, but
yesterday was cold. Saturday was warm.
Yeah, it was kind of nasty.
Yeah, the Greeno Dirksen Cross Country Invitational, very deep field, 30-plus teams from JUCO all the way up to Division I, several MIAA schools competing there. The men's finishing 7th out of 26 teams, the women finishing 18th out of 22. Pau Valderrama leading the way on the men's side, a 14th place finish, 25 minutes, 19 seconds in an 8,000-meter race. Peter Cuddy in 44th. Wimach Gilo finishing 37th, so 3 Griffin men in the top 50, the top 45. Lillian Cutler leading the way on the women's side, finishing 69th in a 5,000-meter race. Her time under 20 minutes at 19:44.59. Deep field, you told Brandon in the recap that you feel like you battled well given where you are with your training. Would like to see things step up a bit competition-wise, but first time back on a course in a couple weeks, just overall thoughts.
We need to be, be satisfied with where we're at. I can't be satisfied with where we're at, but I know where we're at training-wise, so I have to keep that in mind. The one thing is we had 2 people not race up to par, and a year ago, if we do that, we're 20th. And we had that happen, and we've talked about this. We have the depth now. We had that happen, and we're still 7th, but if they run well, maybe we're 2nd or 3rd, and maybe we're competing to beat Nebraska. Like it's a totally different ball game. So. It's nice to know that we're in it when we don't have the best days. It's just it's weird with cross country and running. It's something I always battle with every year. How do you get runner, like fired up. You know, like football, you do all these different things. Basketball, put up more shots, you can get after them. Running, you can't do more. You can do more, but it's ultimately going to hurt you most likely. So it's finding a way to like kind of light that fire, have that pilot light lit, and so when we need it, we can build from it. And you know, we got to find that balance. And I think our guys are just so used to being where we've been, we don't know how to act like winners. Does that make sense? So we're trying to find that balance. And we got done, and the guys weren't satisfied, which was good. You know, they some were like, you know, I didn't run bad, but we need to be better as a team. We need to do the X, Y, and Z. And so I didn't have to go home and sleep on it. It was already done on the bus by them, and you know that's huge. So.
Yeah. Was it an overly challenging course? Kind of a new venue, right? For this?
Yeah, it's run so fast last 2 years, so that's why I was excited to go because you know I wanted to run fast. This was our opening weekend of getting ranked, and you know losses where losses matter, and we only took a loss to Kearney, which is fine, I guess, but because they're receiving votes, they should be ranked after this week. But it's one of those things where it ran really slow. So the past 2 years, over 30 people broke 25. This year, only 9 did.
Wow.
Like Powell would have been like 60th last year in that same race. So I don't know what changed. I wasn't there. It was a lot cooler weather. I know that. And it sounds like they watered the heck out of the course because they didn't want to. It took a beating last year when when it was dry. So maybe it was just a little bit softer.
Sure.
I can't speak on last year, so I don't know what the difference was. But yeah, it's a fair course. The reason we built the schedule the way we did is we wanted to go run challenging courses because our course should run fast, but it's not flat as pancake. So get on courses that are going to prepare us for conference meet, essentially.
Yeah, conference coming up next month in October, and one more regular season meet on the schedule before that time. It's Saturday, October 5th, with the Griffon Invite coming up on a Saturday morning there. But with track and cross country, there tends to be meets that get added in. Are you looking to add anything before conference on October 26th?
It depends on how next week goes. You know, if we run really, really well and get some wins that we need, maybe we need to go chase some wins so we can get a national meet, then we will. But as of right now, we're just going to hope we take care of business, and then we'll figure that out on October 6th.
Is it 6th?
No, I'm figuring it out the day after if I need to.
Okay.
Yeah, I got to see what everybody else does.
Right.
Yeah, so we'll see how we got to run. We got to run well on the 5th before we decide if we're going to race anywhere else.
Well, you've been, working on that course a lot. I know you've been practicing on it. How ready would you say our course is for this thing?
Oh, it's ready. It's just, we needed this rain that we got the last few days. We needed it sporadically over the last 4 weeks. We planted seed and fertilizer, and then it rained the day before we did it, and it hasn't rained since. So until this weekend, so we really needed that bad, and hope we get some growth. But it's holding up. It looks really, really good. I'm a really good mower, so the lines look really good. I'm excited. It's we've had a couple meets on there, but it's that we'll have a pretty. At one point there were 17 teams that are scheduled now. So it started at 10, then it was 12, and then 17. So we'll see who shows up, but could be a pretty deep field. So. And
what's the start time there for the 5th?
We're gonna men at 10, women at 11. We're gonna kind of keep the schedule the same as it is at for the conference meet. So
cool. Yeah, that comes up on Saturday, October the 5th on the Missouri Western Cross Country course. For those that don't know whereabouts, how do you get there on our campus?
Northeast, east side of campus, east of the dorms on 50th Street.
Oh, okay.
It probably means nothing to you. If you're going down Mitchell, away from campus towards Farm and Home, that's the last left you can take to enter by the dorms.
Okay, well, that's the way I go to work, so I do know what
go.
you're talking about. Yeah, so there you go. Griffin's cross country off this weekend, but home on Saturday the 5th for the Griffon Invite, getting to host a big event, up to 17 teams, as Coach said, so should be a great deal. Coach, congrats on a hard effort by your teams, and see you next week.
Thanks.
All right, there you go. Cody Ingold joining us, getting a nice cheer from Jake Plocher, returning the favor. I think those two there's a little bromance developing maybe between Jake Plocher and Cody Ingold, but we love them both and we appreciate their time. We'll take a break. Let's talk some volleyball next. Taylor Russell and Coach Jessica Fye coming up to talk about an undefeated weekend at the SNU UCO Invitational in Bethany, Oklahoma. So stay with us. It's the GSI Podcast from Hi-Ho Bar and Grill. Continuing From Hi-Ho Bar and Grill on the GSI podcast, I'm Tommy Rezach as we talk Missouri Western volleyball off to a terrific start. Their best start in 9 years at 9-2. Now finally done with non-conference play and finally get to play in our city, get to play in our house, the Tom Smith Court Missouri Western Fieldhouse, welcoming in Emporia State and Washburn this weekend. Here to talk about it, head coach Jessica Fye and sophomore right side hitter from Topeka, Kansas, Taylor Russell. Welcome to you both. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Yeah, and congratulations on another great weekend. Going 3-0 at the SNU UCO Invite in Bethany, Oklahoma at Southern Nazarene University. 4-set wins over Southwestern Oklahoma State and Oklahoma Baptist Friday. Some history made on Friday, which we'll get to, and then a dominant sweep over Southern Naz on Saturday to round it out. Coach, just starting with you, and then Taylor, I'll get your thoughts too, but maybe SWOSU, kind of hanging around a bit there early, but it's same thing with Oklahoma Baptist, but you win a fourth set to end the day on Friday, 25-1. You go on a 21-0 run, just I don't know how many times that's happened in the NCAA or just in volleyball in general. Carry that over to a great finish Saturday. Just I know you were a little fired up, Coach, after last weekend. Yeah. How you feeling after this one?
Yeah, a little bit better this one.
Yeah, good.
I think we started off a little slow on Friday. The first set was a little rough, that we kind of found our footing just a little bit. And then even against OBU, we kind of knew it was probably the toughest team we were going to see over the weekend. So it was an important win. Didn't feel great that we didn't win the first set. But I think they kind of understood how important it was going to be for us and how detrimental it could have been for us if we didn't get that win. And they just kind of took it from there. But I think this weekend was the first weekend that we were dominant.
Yeah.
Multiple players were dominant. It wasn't just one person carrying our team. It was multiple people that stepped up, and we felt good as a group leaving. And that was kind of the message that I had to them all weekend was we need to feel really good about ourselves at the end of this weekend, because the real dance starts on next weekend, and we have to be ready to play.
Yeah. Again, our guest also Taylor Russell, second team all-conference last year, MIAA all-tournament team this past season, and having an all-conference type look again this year, at least this weekend. Certainly, Taylor Russell, 11 kills against SWOSU, a season-high 19 against Oklahoma Baptist, and then Holly Helt led the way against Southern Naz with 13 kills. But, Taylor, you're hitting .425 on that last match on Saturday, and I guess I'll just ask, how in the world do you win a set 25-1? That's hard to do for anybody.
Like Coach said, after that first set, we were kind of okay, we need to lock in. This is a really important game. And I think we just went out there with no fear and really played our best game, played low air, and we got it done.
Yeah, balls getting kicked around, your kick saves, kicks that ended in kills as well. So just a terrific match in the second set against OBU, 25-8. So kind of maybe a preview of what was to come. Winning the fourth and game-winning set, 25-1 on Friday night. And shout out to Brandon and Cole. They, I think, did a good job, and Ryan Menley, highlighting that on social media because, wow, that just doesn't happen very often. Well, Coach, you step back and just think all the miles y'all have put on and who you've played. You beat a ranked team. You played 3 ranked opponents overall. We've played 4 regional teams. You beat 3 of those 4. 11 matches, 3 different states, 3 weeks. You're home. Obviously a great showing when you look at it in the big picture, and just a relief to be off a bus for a little while, huh?
Yeah, I think everyone's kind of feeling it a little bit. I didn't think when I scheduled it, I didn't think it was going to be too bad, and I won't ever do it again. It's been pretty brutal.
Yeah.
So I think we're all ready to be home and just not have to load up on a bus on Thursday and get out of here again. So.
Yeah. Taylor, for you, second year playing in this program, you had a pretty brutal non-conference slate last year as well. But to go against the teams you did, like a Grand Valley, like a Concordia, St. Paul, and then 3 Great American Conference teams right in a row there, just how battle-tested, how prepared do you feel like this group is for MIAA play here?
I think our preseason prepared us really well. Going against high competition and ranked teams definitely helped us out, and I think I have a pretty good feeling about conference this year, and I'm excited to get it started.
Yeah, you were one of a number of big pieces back from last season, and we've talked about the belief, right, of this team to build off of last year, take it to new heights, and surely that message has been received. Best start in 9 years. But for you and maybe some of the underclassmen who played such big roles last year, what is the difference between now versus a year ago at this time?
Yeah, I think just having experience, we started a lot of freshmen last year, and obviously now we're a lot more experienced. We know our roles and what's expected of us, and we have almost all the same starters that we did last year, so that's definitely going to help us out, and we're just going to build off of last year and hopefully get a better finish than we did last year.
Yeah, and talk of some underclassmen who showed out this weekend. Freshman Noelle Sutcliffe, 15 kills against Southwestern, and then Emily Loy with 12 kills against Southern Naz. And Coach, I feel like that's something we've talked about is defense has always kind of been there with this squad. It's just a matter of can we get a few other attackers going, and for the moment you answered that question and got going. They did.
Yeah, we adjusted some things with our outside hitter position. You know, I really challenged Nessa last week to fix our tempo to our outside. We just weren't, we weren't getting kills out there. We had no offense out there, and so she pretty much had 3 days to set an entire new set to that position, and she did a really good job over the weekend. But yeah, it's definitely going to help us if we can add to our offense with, besides Taylor, Holly, we need our middles to show up. We need our O2 to kind of step up a little bit more and score more points consistently.
Yeah. Well, the real almost a new season starts now, right? I don't want to say the real test, but a big test as conference play starts. I'm looking at Arkansas Fort Smith, who's 6th in the league right now. They're 8-3. That's just how good this top half of the conference is. And Missouri Western's going to get a taste of it at home this weekend. Friday, Emporia State they're off to an 8-2 start. And then Washburn, kind of a traditional power. They were in a national championship match a couple years ago. They're 9-1. Both of those matches starting at 6. Emporia Friday, Washburn on Saturday. So we get a double dose of the Ichabods on our campus on Saturday. We've beaten Emporia and Washburn 4 straight times now, Coach Fye. Of course, a lot of people from over there. Taylor, you're from Topeka, so certainly 2 people very familiar with the Ichabod program. But Emporia first, obviously. Just how do you go about scouting and attacking this week?
Yeah, Emporia's a very different team. This is their coach's 2nd season. They actually remind me a lot of us last year. So early on, we lost some games we probably wouldn't have lost late in the season. So I think the more experience Emporia keeps getting, the better they're going to be. So I think they're actually going to be a force to be reckoned with right now, and then definitely later on. They're just a brand new team, a lot of talent on that team, just I think still trying to find that chemistry together. So definitely not someone that we can overlook by any means. They, I think they have the outside hitter that's leading the conference in kills right now. She has almost 200 kills out of preseason, which is insane. So we definitely have to focus on Emporia first.
And Taylor, for you, growing up in Topeka, you go to Washburn Rural, had a great career there, state championships. No doubt being recruited by some other MIAA members, the Washburn being in your hometown. But kind of talk about your decision to ultimately come here and get a chance to play the school from the town you grew up in.
Yeah, I just wanted to honestly get out of Topeka and try something new.
Okay.
And I really liked the coaches, obviously, and the team was very welcoming to me. So that's why I ended up choosing Mo West, but I'm very happy with my decision and glad I did.
Yeah, and I know Coach is excited, but for you and the team, to play at home, that's got to be exciting, right? Just knowing you guys have momentum and folks are probably going to want to come watch you, right?
Yeah, I'm really excited for our first home games, and it's great that they're against Washburn and Emporia. Those are going to be 2 great matches for us, and we're really going to have to show out and do our best, and hopefully we can win them.
Yeah, and for you fans that are coming out, again, the Friday it's going to be a busy night. Volleyball at 6, soccer at 7:30. So hopefully folks can go from Looney to Spratt, and then Saturday do the opposite: football at 2, and then migrate over to Looney for volleyball on Saturday at 6 o'clock. Gold, wear your gold Friday. It's a gold out. Also the Sunshine Bags charity going on. Coach Fye, I actually wanted to talk to you about that real quick. Just a reminder of what is that? And we know it benefits the Ronald McDonald House in Kansas City, right?
Yeah, so every year we do a Sunshine Bag game, which you bring yellow items. It can be yellow food items. It can be activities. It can be pencils, erasers, just any yellow items. We make little bags, and we deliver them to the Ronald McDonald House in Kansas City. And so when families check into the house, they get like a welcome bag, ultimately, just full of snacks and activities and goodies and stuff. So we just ask that family fans just donate something. We'll have a table set out kind of at the entrance. So it's just for a good cause, and we always have a great turnout for that.
Yeah, so wear gold Friday, bring some yellow items, and then Saturday, it's Military Appreciation Day out at Spratt, and then in keeping with that, it's a USA America theme on Saturday night at Looney as we honor and salute those are our supporters, fans, family members, anyone who has served our country. So there you go, Missouri Western Volleyball, Emporia Friday at 6, Saturday at 6. Both matches will be broadcast live on the MIAA network and right here on the Varsity Network app as well. So Taylor Russell, Coach Fye, thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Appreciate the time. All right, there you go. Go out and watch Missouri Western Volleyball soccer. I mean, you really can't go wrong. Fall sports off to a terrific start here in 2024. Missouri Western football, surely happy to be back home after their third road game in 4 weeks. Griffon football back home to take on Washburn after a terrific battle in Emporia State on Saturday. Tyler Fenwick and Grant Finley will be up to talk about it next. It's the GSI Podcast live from Hi-Ho Bar and Grill on the Griffon Sports Network. Back once again on the Griffon Sports Insider Podcast at Hi-Ho Bar and Grill. I'm Tommy Rezach as we talk Griffon football now. Missouri Western, another road test, another test against a ranked team. 13th ranked Emporia hosting the Griffons for what was a 1 o'clock kickoff in a game that went well into the afternoon, about 3.5 hours before being settled in overtime. Hornets winning it 30-27. Head coach Tyler Fenwick, joined by junior defensive lineman from St. Louis, Grant Finley, who had a pretty monstrous performance, which we'll talk about. And gentlemen, I know we're not up here talking about a win, but we are talking about one heck of an effort against one heck of a team in one heck of a game. Coach Fenwick, starting with you, and then Grant, I'll get your thoughts. But loved your message to the team afterwards that as much as it hurts, as much as the ending hurts, you know, you were in the battle. You overcame some adversity, had some great moments in that game. Both teams kind of making mistakes, but I'm looking at key red zone stops and getting a nice stop to start overtime. I mean, both teams had their chances and just a great battle to the end. Just where do you sit with that one as we're now 2 days removed?
Yeah, well, I mean, first of all, in this league, if you can't handle adversity, you're not gonna survive.
Sure, it's
just too hard of a league. It's too, the competition is too good. And we talk about from the day fall camp starts, we talk about how you've got to be able to handle the ups and downs of a football game. I mean, there's going to be good things and bad things, and you just got to stay the course, and you just got to keep playing, and you got to play through some of the down times. I mean, offensively, we didn't play very well in the first quarter, and so defensively, they were kind of keeping us alive. But then all of a sudden, offensively, we. There's a spark and something happens, and all of a sudden you get back into it, and so you're back up on a high, and you know what I mean. And that's just the ebbs and flows of the football game that your team has to be able to handle through and go through adversity. And I think we've done a pretty good job of that this year. We did it in the Northeastern game.
Yep.
Where we were down and had to fight back. We did it in the Missouri Southern game where we're up, and then all of a sudden third quarter and we turn it over, and and all that stuff. And so then again, this week we have to do it again. But that's just something that's just going to be an every week kind of thing in this league. You just have to expect that. But yeah, I mean, I'm proud of the way our kids played, and stayed together, and they just play every play. They just go out and play the next play and try to make a play. And we left some things out there, and had some opportunities other than the end of the game. I mean, everybody looks at the end of the game, but
right.
There's so many things out there that you look at the film, and if we could have executed this way, and if we could have executed this play here and in this quarter, things can it change.
Yeah,
so.
If we gain 1 yard on the previous play before the last one,
right.
it's a whole different
Right.
conversation probably.
Sure.
Grant, the defense is out there for 102 snaps, 74 of those are pass plays, and you in the defensive front getting great pressure on Gunnar Gundy all day. 4 sacks, you had a couple of them. 6 tackles, fumble recovery in the red zone. Braden Everton pops it out of the running back's hands, and it lands right to you. But for you, I'm sure your guys feeling a little bit sore after that one, but for the defense to respond time and again, 4 red zone stops, you force them to some missed field goals. Just I know between the 20s, Emporia seemed to be moving, but once they got toward the red zone, your guys responded. Just thoughts on how you feel about the way your unit performed.
I mean, our entire message is bend, don't break. We're something Coach Gallo has been telling us is like put the fires out. Be a firefighter. Whenever stuff's getting tough, just do what you can and do whatever we can to help this team succeed. So that's what we were doing.
Yeah, absolutely. Nick Oliver, 11 tackles on the defensive end, and the Griffons picking up a couple of fumbles there in that game to keep themselves in it. Some offensive performances certainly to recognize. Brandon Hall, another great game for him. 20 carries, 137 yards, the touchdown. Career high 6 catches, and he caught a touchdown pass. Third time in his career doing that. Tyler Carey, 5 grabs for 112 yards, 2 scores. He had 2 scores right before the end of the half, including an 80-yard bomb. The Griffons scoring 20 points in 5 minutes before the half to go up 20-10 at the break. And Jonas Bennett to be credited not only with his 4 catches for 56 yards, a 56-yard punt return, which set up the Griffons' final touchdown, giving us a 27-20 lead there at the end. But obviously, Coach, on offense, Cody Kirk gets his first crack at quarterback. Kane Donovan takes a pretty big shot early in the game. I thought maybe I saw him hobbling off a little bit far end, didn't want to jump to conclusions, and we see Cody, known as the deep ball specialist, get his first time in. And, man, for at least the first, few drives he was in there, 3-4 drives, completes 7 of his first 13. He's just rifling them in there. You told me at halftime and postgame that he just likes to go in there and throw the ball around. That's exactly what he did.
Yeah, he looks for the deep ball, that's for sure. But he's got a strong arm, and it was one of those things where, Kane, I think it was maybe the third play of the game, Kane went kind of hobbling off, and it was like, "Are you okay?" He said, "Yeah, just got to walk it off," and that sort of thing. And so he went back in there, and I think he was a little bit unstable. And then it turned out he does have an injury, and so we're gonna have to we're getting that looked at and see where we're at and see what happens next with him. But so and then I felt like with Cody we were getting behind the defense. We were missing it. We just weren't seeing it. And Cody's kind of got that mindset that he kind of looks for the shots and the big plays and uses arm strength. And I thought, let's go with Cody and get him figure out what we got with him. And I thought, overall, I thought he did a pretty good job. He got limited reps during the week.
Yeah.
And so for him to go in there and just kind of sling it around and, it was good to see. And now that he's kind of got his feet wet in a game and Brandon Burwald's got his feet wet in a game. And so we got some guys that have a little bit of experience, and we just need to build off of that now. 220
pass yards, 3 touchdowns, the most any Griffon quarterback has thrown for in a game so far this year. Grant, going to the other quarterback, the son of Mike Gundy, a lot of hype, obviously, when he's coming out of Oklahoma State and his dad is who he is. And to his credit, his numbers are good. And a guy's slinging it 74 times. He probably needed an ice bath. But the thing that you guys did that other opponents hadn't, just getting pressure on him, especially that first half. You're chasing him all over. He can run it. We know that. But you get home 4 times on the sack, and so many different guys. Who was it? Jamarion Kane helped with a sack there at one point or another, and this team still leading the league in sacks. Was a strength last year and is again this year. Just what can you speak to about just getting after him and being able to pressure other quarterbacks this year?
Well, I think we're gelling together as a defense for sure. I mean, our DBs are holding stuff down on the back end. Our linebackers are doing a great job as well. And it's easy to get home whenever you're running stunts with guys like Brandon Johnson, Braden Evertson, Garrett Watson. Like, we're just getting after them. We're putting shots on them all day, so it was pretty fun.
Yeah.
And like you said, like younger guys stepping up, it's the culture at this point. Like, next man up mentality. We're all going to do our job and do what we have to do to get after it.
Jaden Brown getting a couple career sacks at Fort Hays State a couple weeks ago. Those were the first of his career, 11 sacks through the first 4 weeks. Grant Finley, Tyler Fenwick up here on the Griffon Sports Insider podcast. Well, like I said, Coach, 3.5 hours. You kind of have to do the Reader's Digest version here. Getting down to the end of regulation, you send Cody Watson out. You get a pretty good drive going. You benefit from a penalty. You move the chains. You're just outside of probably what was reasonable range. You're going into the wind. But we got a first-team all-conference kicker, Cody Watson. 2 attempts in all from 55 yards. I looked, it would have tied for 6th highest in school history had it gone through. First attempt had the distance, pulled it right. They iced him. He gets a second try. The snap was kind of low. Just take me through those last few seconds. Cody trying to hit Jonas to get you a little closer. But what was going through Cody's mind at that point with a chance to walk it off like he did last year?
Yeah, well, I mean, we kept asking him. There were 6 seconds left on the clock.
Correct.
And you think, okay, let's try to get maybe a few more yards. And but you got to tell the quarterback, look, he's either open or he's not, and it's got to get out of bounds. And so didn't get it. But I just asked Cody, what do you think? Can you hit this? And we kept looking at the flag. The flags weren't blowing. I mean, the wind had died down. So we figured, let's go ahead and take a shot at it. If not, we get to go to overtime. So, and I mean, the first one, he hit it good. He had the distance on it.
He did.
And then the second one, I think, was just a little bit, snap was a little bit off. And it just wasn't as clean as the first one was. But, it would have been pretty sweet to see him walk off again against those guys 2 years in a row.
Yeah, from 41 yards last year in our house and 55. I mean, that was a Greg Zerline type of number for sure going into it. Not meant to be, but you win the toss, you go on defense, and Grant, you hold them to a 3-and-out, or at least in overtime, a field goal try, which they make. I mean, at that point, that's about the best case scenario, right? In overtime, you get on defense, you get the stop, and then you know what you need. I mean, how much did that fire you guys up to get in there, battered and bruised, and to hold them to that field goal?
I mean, we just felt confident all day going on the field. We didn't care if we were starting on our one or their one. The field was ours. We just felt like we could do whatever we could to stop them. And helped his team win. So we were excited to get off the field in 3, and we had faith. So
that's right. Missouri Western then getting the ball, starting to move it toward the end zone, getting a first down on 3rd and about 8. I want to say it was. Cody Kirk completes it to Jonas Bennett. I called it as a first down. It was opposite sideline. Could have been 1st and goal at the 4. I guess he stepped out. Coach Fenwick challenge. They did take a look at it for several good minutes. Apparently he was out. So 4th and 1 at the 5. And Coach, you said it. You more or less called the challenge. You call your last time out, then you get a few extra minutes to talk about things. You said the play that you tried at the end was something you installed this week. How did folks kind of react when the decision came to you that, hey, we're going to go for this?
Well, I mean, I think it was a couple things. Number one, we ran 102 defensive snaps.
Correct.
I mean, our guys have been on the field for a long time, and you sit there and you say, okay, do we, kick a field goal, and then you got to put your defense back out there in that situation, and that's tough, and or do we have a play that we feel like we can execute and put this thing away and end it? So we just, the challenge helped us kind of have these discussions, and between the offensive coaching staff and even Coach Johnson up in the, we were kind of getting some his feedback too, and we just figured let's take a shot at it and let's go for it and let's do it. And we got a play we like, and we with Cody being the third, I mean, really not getting a whole lot of reps. We actually had to get some snaps under center to make sure we could get some snaps under center, and they executed that good, and luckily, thankfully they took a while. The challenge took a while to kind of get some of those kinks out, but. I mean, it's too bad. We had it open and just missed it. And I don't, I feel bad, for Jay Will and all that, because he's the guy, he's the right guy to have in that position. He's our goal line back. He's a big back. He's accountable. He's, he catches the ball really well. He's one of our better running back catching backs. And if we had to do it all over again, I'd put him back in there again.
Yeah, that's great to hear. Yeah, hope he's doing well. I said as much on the broadcast. My heart goes out to him. He caught a touchdown earlier this year at Northeastern State. We definitely know what he's capable of, and capable of a bounce back. We know that for sure. Well, that's what Western's looking for at home this week, taking on Washburn. The Ichabod's coming in at 0-3, but do not let that fool you. I would say they have the toughest schedule in Division II right now. They went at Emporia week 1, 5th-ranked School of Mines. That's a team that was playing for a national title less than 2 years ago. Played them to 3. Had Pitt State in their house. That was a good game. Pitt won by 8 points. So they've been right there. And kind of like Missouri Western, they've been trying some things at quarterback. For 2 years in a row, Washburn's number 1 quarterback gets a season-ending injury. Sam Van Dyne out for the year with an MCL. So they've been trying to do a couple of different quarterbacks there. Turnovers, they've had some problems there. They're a little bit young. They're trying to get more consistent in the run game, but they've got some talented receivers. And, Coach, we know one thing, they maybe have some struggles and some attrition, but they've competed. They've been right there. And it's a team that was 2-9 last year, hungry to try and get back. So with all that in mind, I know today's kind of the game plan day. So just on the surface, what do you make of Washburn?
Yeah, they're a good team, and a little bit scary because you look at, it's hard not to look at they were 2-9, and we put up a lot of points against them and kind of ran away with it last year. But when you really dig into it, you sit there and they've played 3 teams pretty close, and they're all top 10 teams in the country. They're top ranked teams. I mean, all 3 of those teams are very, very good football teams, and so they're right along with them, and they've improved their roster from last year. They played a lot of young guys against us last year, and they had a lot of injuries last year that didn't play against us that are back, and they're a big defense. I think they've got they got some receivers that can run, and they've had that in the past before, and maybe didn't have that last year, with some injuries and all that stuff. But they're a dangerous football team, and I think Coach Schurig has been around a long time. He's been in this league a long time. He's had a lot of success in this league, and so. He's going to have them ready to go, and especially coming off of the 2-9 year that they had last year. I mean, as a competitor, as a coach, as a coach that's been around. I mean, he's got to get him back on track, and he'll do that because he knows how to do it.
Yeah, Craig Schurig, the head coach there, a lot of pride for him. His son Mitch was a quarterback for him. He's actually their offensive line coach, and Washburn's a team that was only in the playoffs 3 years ago, so we know they've had that success. Grant, coach, said it. I mean, we kind of had our way with them last year, 61-21, complimentary football, guys having fun, a lot of different people getting to play in that game. But, last year. We move on to this season. Great energy at home, I thought, a couple weeks ago. Just you talked about mindset and the message. Just how confident are you the guys are going to be urgent and hungry just to get one back on the right side this week?
There's no boohoo mentality or anything like that. No one's feeling sorry for themselves. We're all really hungry, excited to get back after it. We treat every opponent the same, so we don't care who we're playing. Faceless opponent, we're ready to get after it.
And it's Military Appreciation Day as well, so it's USA America theme for volleyball. So wear your black and gold, but be sure to maybe thank a veteran, thank one of our whether it's a family member or a Griffon fan. So many in our community who have served our country. So bearing that in mind, this week that's Military Appreciation Day, and it's an early kick, a 2:00 start, 1:00 pregame on the Griffon Sports Network, and should be a pretty nice day at Spratt Stadium. So get out, cheer loud as the Griffons go for their second home win and look to get back above 500 and get another win against the Washburn Ichabods. That's Tyler Fenwick, defensive lineman Grant Finley. Gentlemen, I had fun watching you guys play and look forward to watching another competitive battle this week. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tommy.
Thank you. Appreciate it. And Coach Fenwick will be up here for the roundtable, which will wrap up the show with that next on the Griffon Sports Network. Stay with us. All right, we're back for the roundtable. I'm told that we might start dubbing this the Roundtable of Irrelevancy as we round out the Griffon Sports Insider podcast.
Everything I say is relevance.
Yeah, that's debatable. Jake Plocher, Cody Ingold, Jessica Fye, Tyler Fenwick. We're off and running already.
I just said I was going to stop talking so much. Yeah. Sorry. That lasted a whole 10 seconds.
I want to give our SID, Brandon Dugan, some credit. He thought of maybe an opening topic. We talked about, fall and the weather changing. We were driving home from some nasty rain from Emporia. Got me thinking, coaches, whether you're an athlete, a coach, an assistant coach, what are the worst playing conditions, weather conditions that you can remember in competition? Anything stand out to you there?
See, Tommy, some of us are wise and play indoor sports.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
Jealous of them sometimes.
Yeah.
I ran high school cross country. It snowed the day on the golf course there in Kearney, Nebraska. So that was brutal.
Metal Arc,
Yeah, and we were Class A men, or boys. Sorry, boys when you're in high school. Was the 8th race of the day, so it was just a mud fest with snow. It was brutal.
Yeah. Coach Fenwick, isn't he coldest football game come to mind? I know 2012, that 2012 season there was some extreme weather.
Well, yeah, that was
a long time ago.
Well, that was up. Yeah, Mankato was cold, but I was up in the press box back then.
So you're also smart.
I had, hot chocolate and all that. University of Mary was a cold. We played there one year
North
back
Dakota.
when I was up at Moorhead, Minnesota. I remember we played a game in the downpour rain, grass field, which turned into basically a mud field. I was coaching with Coach Johnson. He actually lost his shoe in the mud on the sideline. Never found it. It's probably still there buried somewhere. So, but yeah, football games, and you get some pretty nasty cold ones.
Absolutely. Another one I want to salute. We were driving home kind of just talking about what are we going to talk about Monday. One that I thought about is, in our professions, I think we all kind of have to, start from the bottom, work our way up. But also, as high schoolers, as young people, maybe there was a job we didn't like as much. Shifting gears, first job and or worst job you ever had?
I was lifeguard. Lifeguard at the city pool, and honestly, some of the best times were when there was weather delays. And this is still when I was playing soccer, so we'd get the goals and we'd tip them over and kind of try to work on accuracy and try to place it in the trash can. But no, lifeguard was a fun one.
Yeah. Cody?
I was an apprentice for a general laborer. So I cleaned up all the construction people's messes at all the job sites.
Man, was that in Omaha then?
Yeah, I was 14 years old, and my dad got me a job at his company, and it wasn't one of those here you get a paycheck. I had to work. It was brutal.
How about you, coaches?
I worked at a daycare my sophomore year of high school, and I thought I was going to love it. It made me dislike kids until I had my own. It did. I was like, I'd never want kids, and then I had my own. I'm like, all right, I like you, but I still don't like other people's kids very much.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that one.
Coach, what were you doing before coaching?
Oh, my worst job. I worked at a junior high, and this is when I was in college. And 7th and 8th grade kids are the worst kids. It's the worst age to deal with. I hated every minute of it.
I'm so excited.
They're ruthless. They're terrible.
Oh yeah, no, that is a tough age. I know. I kind of have a mouth as it is, and when I was that age, it was bad. I got reprimanded a few times. All right, last thing. Sometimes I try to look at current events when we do these things, but man, current events. It's an election year. It can be a little bit depressing. But in offbeat news, I saw this from the state of Florida this past week. So you already know it's going to be good. They do something there called the Florida Python Challenge. and they have a winner. A guy named Ronald Kiger won $10,000 for removing 20 Burmese pythons from the Florida Everglades, meant to bring awareness to the threat that they pose. How many would you remove for $10,000?
Zero.
Do you have weapons?
I would
Or am I
remove
just going with
zero
my
for
hands,
$1 million.
or-
It looks like he has gloves, so yeah, according to the picture, yeah.
I can't even touch a little garter snake. You think I'm gonna touch that thing?
Yeah, no, I'm right with there with you. I hate snakes.
Zero
Yeah.
for no.
Yeah.
No,
No.
I'm out.
No.
Not
I
doing
guess
it.
I'm the only one. I only have to catch one if it's 4 of us. I'm in. $10,000 for one snake, I'm in.
I'm shocked to hear this. So, creepiest animal. What's your biggest fear out there in the animal kingdom?
Humans.
Humans. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Like spiders. Any
Open water, sharks.
Yeah.
Like
And we can't
ocean,
see
like,
them.
Yeah,
like
I don't
the fact that you
know
don't know
what's out
underneath.
there.
I still kick my
Freaks me
feet
out.
really hard in the pool. You never know. I've seen some movies.
Yeah.
You know?
I was almost going to ask you what would you do for $10,000, but I got hand slapped for no gambling, right? So
Yeah.
we can't really talk about
we don't do that.
any of
No
that stuff.
gambling,
But well, coaches, I think we're about out of time here, but I appreciate it. Again, soccer at home on Wednesday, Friday. Cross country idle this week. They'll be back home October 5th. Volleyball finally at home on Friday and Saturday night. Both matches at 6. Football back home too against Washburn Saturday.
Good
at
luck,
2.
third floor. It's going to be a wild
I
week.
know. Say your prayers
Yeah.
for us. But coaches, thank you. Good
I'll
luck
sleep
to all of
well.
you, and thanks for coming up here. Appreciate it.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for having us.
All right, that'll do it for the GSI podcast here on a Monday. Thank you to all those who listened and those of you who attended. Remember, you can watch back the podcast, listen back to it in full on the Griffon Sports Insider pages on Apple, Spotify, YouTube. Be sure to subscribe. And we'll talk to you next Monday at noon for another edition of the GSI podcast from Hi-Ho Bar and Grill. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. So long.